Are y'all ready for episode 2? We are about to be live. All right, y'all. What's going on? Everybody, welcome. All right. So as you can see from the title, we got some things to talk about today. We're going to discuss first and foremost the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, my thoughts. We're going to go over the timeline of everything that occurred. Then we got the Tulsa, Oklahoma, another mass shooting. And then I have a mega announcement coming up more towards the end of this podcast. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to get y'all in on it. First off, go into the description, follow my link tree. That'll bring you to all my social medias. For Instagram, that'll go to my profile in the bio there. It'll be right there. If I can get y'all to either throw a thumbs up, thumbs down, whichever one you want to do on this podcast, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching it now or you're watching the rerun that's going to get posted later on. I would greatly appreciate that too. So let's wait for a few people to come up in and we'll get on with the show. I've got a lot of notes on this case, and I've got a lot to talk about with it. Then we got a lot to talk about another mass shooting. And sorry if I say Oklahoma wrong. I just can't say the word. Like, I can't say the state. My bad. So, like anything else, when we talk about that particular thing, the mass shooting, we're not going to mention any names. Honestly, that's not what I'm here for. We'll discuss what happened, but we aren't going to give out any names. I'm not here to praise the murderer. Honestly, like, no, we're not doing that here. So, let's start it off with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. In case y'all been living under a rock, which I hope y'all aren't, especially since you're watching me right now. Amber Heard, or Johnny Depp, sued Amber Heard for defamation. Then Amber Heard made a counter claim for defamation. They went to court. It was about a 6-week trial. But we're going to start out at the beginning. Back in 2009, Depp and Heard met on the set of The Rum Diary. This was in Puerto Rico. Oh, The Rum Diary is a journalist that takes a job in Puerto Rico. Heard played a woman engaged to another man who Johnny Heard is immediately smitten with as soon as he sees her. I've never seen this movie. I don't know if y'all have. I don't know if y'all have at all. But that's the synopsis of that movie. I probably will never watch it anyway. I don't like her as an actor or actress. Then Heard tells Heard tells Vogue in 2011, working with Johnny was torture. It was better than I have ever imagined, which is really saying something. 2012, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard start to date. They started dating at the end of 2011 or the start of 2012. It was also in 2012 that Depp and longtime partner Paradise, whatever, I don't know how you say that name, whatever. His longtime partner announced their separation of after 14 years of dating. Depp had 2 children with her, Lily Rose, born in 1999, and John Christopher, born in 2002. Heard split up with her partner, Asia Van Ree, at the same exact time. USA Today in 2009 reported, or USA Today in 2012 reported that Heard was arrested in 2009 on a charge of physically assaulting her then girlfriend Van Ree at a Seattle-Tacoma International Airport in Washington. The two got into a disagreement after Heard allegedly grabbed and hit Van Ree's arm. Case 1 of abuse. All charges were dropped. However, Van Ree herself saying that Heard was wrongfully accused by cops who misinterpreted and over sensationalized the incident. If she hit her, that's abuse. Plain put. In 2014, Heard was spotted wearing an engagement ring. Okay. There was a picture of the actress wearing an ornate engagement ring that went viral. Depp himself later on that year confirmed the engagement in a video interview with the Daily Mail after discussing the wedding planning and pointing out he was wearing a chick's ring on his finger. Probably a dead giveaway. He says it's probably a dead giveaway, isn't it? Not very subtle. No shit. You're wearing a ring on your ring finger. Come on, man. Not very subtle. Should have stayed with the other one. Just saying. 2015, they got married in a private ceremony. After several years of dating, they married in a very private ceremony in their home in LA with people reporting photos. Later in 2015, Depp and Heard breached Australia's biosecurity laws after they failed to declare their dogs. When they arrived in the country, they released an apology video together. Then in 2016, now we're getting a little more recent, Heard filed for divorce from Depp, accusing him of physical abuse. She filed this on May 23rd, 2016. 4 days later, she obtained a restraining order against Depp. She alleged that Depp had physically abused her during the relationship and said it was usually while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. We all know Johnny Depp has had a serious issue with drugs and alcohol. I mean, what star with a ton of money hasn't right now? I mean, that was what a lot of them did. And look at how a lot of them passed. What's next? Depp denied the accusations and through his representatives said Heard was attempting to secure a premature financial resolution by alleging abuse, which in the defamation case, she tried it again. A $7 million settlement was reached out of court on August 16, 2016. Heard testified under oath at a deposition, but a settlement was eventually reached after she withdrew her request for a domestic violence restraining order. She also rescinded her spousal support request of $50,000 a month. Who the fuck needs $50,000 a month to live? Come on. Go get a job. You kidding me? Damn people. Now, remember, this $7 million settlement agreement, she wasn't keeping. She was splitting this between two organizations. I remember one was the UCLA. She was supposed to give 3.5 million. I don't remember the other one, but she was supposed to donate all of the money, which then 6 years later, when they're in court now, she still hasn't. They released a joint statement that day. Our relationship was intensely passionate and at times volatile, but always bound by love. Neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. It continued. There was never any intent of physical or emotional harm. And then she claims she donated the money, which, as you've seen throughout the trial, she didn't. And when pushed on it by Camille Vasquez, Camille asked her about donating. Obviously, she didn't donate it. She interchangeably uses the words pledge and donate, which aren't the same thing. They're totally different words. I don't know who thinks pledge and donate are the same exact things. That's just crazy to me. 2017, the divorce was finalized. And that was a year after the divorce was put in. Heard kept the dogs that were at the center of the 2015 scandal, in which the couple failed to declare them in Australia. Depp retained sole possession of all properties, including his private island in the Bahamas. Motherfucker got a private island, come on. As well as his collection of classic cars and motorcycles. Yeah, you can't take that away from him. Like, you can't take that away from dude. The Hollywood Reporter reported that a non-disparagement clause was inserted into the settlement that prevented either party from saying anything negative about the high-profile relationship and breakup. So, that op-ed doesn't name Johnny Depp, but you can assume who it's about. She violated that. That was an agreement. They both signed it. In 2018, December of 2018, Heard wrote an op-ed with the support, I believe, of the UCLA. They ghost wrote it for her. They wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post saying she was abused. Heard wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post in which she spoke about the treatment of women in domestic abuse cases. Okay, that's perfectly fine. That does happen. A lot of times people do get shunned for what they come out with, which is not okay. Domestic abuse, whether it's on a man or a female, whether it's man versus female, man versus man, female versus female, it's not okay. In the op-ed, Heard wrote, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of the culture's wrath for women who speak out. That is one thing that's wrong in this country, definitely. You do see that a lot. It does happen. It's not like it doesn't. Nobody can claim it doesn't happen. Depp himself was never mentioned by name, but you could tell who she's talking about. In 2019, Depp sued Heard for $50 million for defamation over the Way Powell argument. So the Washington Post argument, that op-ed. The suit said that Heard is not a victim of domestic abuse. She's a perpetrator, and denied that Depp ever abused her. Instead, the suit said that Heard's allegations were a part of an elaborate hoax to generate positive publicity for the actress. Depp's lawyers also said the op-ed depended on the central premise that Miss Heard was a domestic abuse victim and that Mr. Depp perpetrated domestic violence against her. In the court filing that attempted to dismiss Depp's defamation suit, Heard detailed multiple instances of alleged abuse that she said occurred during the marriage and referred to him as the monster. She referred to the man as the monster. 2020, phone recordings were released in which Heard admitted to hitting Depp. So this is what they're talking about here. What we're talking about here is, if you watch the case, there's a recording where Johnny says, "Stop punching me." She says, "I'm not punching you, Johnny. I'm hitting you." And she repeats the "I'm hitting you" part. Pino, welcome in. I appreciate you here being here. Focus on the road, sir. She says in the video, "I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you, babe. You're not punched." And then she says repeatedly, I'm not punching you. I'm not punching you. I'm hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you." Meanwhile, Depp in the recording, I left last night. Honestly, I swear to you, because I couldn't take the idea of more physicality, more physical abuse on each other. Because had we continued, it would have gotten effing bad. And baby, I told you this once, I'm scared to death. We are effing crime scene right now. Heard replies to him in the same video, in the same message. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I effing sometimes get so mad I lose it. So she's admitting abuse right then and there, which she denies while she's on stand. We'll get into that though. On July 7th, 2020, the 3-week libel trial began. This is the trial that happened overseas, I believe in the UK, where Depp was fighting against newspapers, the publisher of The Sun, in a court over a 2018 article in which they called him a wife beater in reference to Depp and Heard's former marriage. Depp sued both the publisher and The Sun's executive editor Dan Wooten for libel. Basically, he sued them for defamation as well. Ryder and Paradis provided statements for this trial. Ryder wrote in her statement, and this, I believe they're talking about Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder, if you don't know, they dated, and then Paradis was a 14-year-old relationship, or 14-year-long relationship. Ryder wrote, the idea that he's an incredibly violent person is the furthest thing from the Johnny I knew and loved. I cannot wrap my head around these accusations. Paradis wrote that Heard's accusations are nothing like the true Johnny I have known, and from my personal experience of many years, I can say he was never violent or abusive to me. So that's got to mean a lot, because they were together 14 years, and if he didn't abuse her, why would he just basically start doing it? Like, that doesn't make sense that somebody that's not abusive would sit there and start just out of nowhere. It could happen. I mean, we'll see. The trial began in early July, and lasted 3 weeks. Depp alleged that Heard defecated in his bed and punched him, which Heard denies. Depp also accused Heard of having extramarital affairs with James Franco and Elon Musk, which Heard also denies. During the trial here in the US, they know that she went up into a room with James Franco, and then Elon Musk. We all know that Elon Musk was giving her money, and they were always seen together too. So that's not totally unbelievable that she was having an affair with both of them. She probably was. Heard meanwhile accused Depp of physically abusing her, and has also accused him of throwing a phone at her face. That picture she has of the phone at the face, I don't know that the phone would leave a small mark like that, but I am no doctor. I don't know that type of stuff, so I can't really say. I could just give you my opinion on that. Then she says that Depp threatened to kill her on several occasions. On November 2nd, the court ruled against Depp in the libel trial. This is 3 months after the Blockbuster trial. Um, Basically, they didn't think there was enough evidence for the defamation suit, and they ruled against him. He lost that. So that just goes to show, or well, that just goes to say, like, they didn't believe what he was saying, and they didn't believe there was enough information that what was said was malice and enough to defame Johnny Depp. But at this point, Johnny Depp has already started to basically lose his career a little bit because of what's coming out, that Heard and the Sun said. Follow the ruling, a spokesman for the Sun said the Sun has stood up and campaigned for the victims of domestic abuse for over 20 years. Domestic abuse victims must never be silenced, and we thank the judge for his careful consideration and thank Amber Heard for her courage in giving evidence to the court. In a statement to the BBC, Heard's lawyer in the U.S. said, "For those of us present for the London High Court trial, this decision and judgment are not a surprise. Very soon, we'll be presenting even more voluminous evidence in the U.S. We are committed to obtaining justice for Amber Heard in the U.S. court and defending Miss Heard's right to free speech." Johnny Depp has strenuously denied all claims that he was violent towards Heard, and in a statement published shortly after the ruling, his lawyer said the decision is as perverse as it is bewildering. Most troubling is the judge's reliance on the testimony of Amber Heard and corresponding disregard of the mountain of counter evidence from police officers, medical practitioners, her own former assistant, other unchallenged witnesses, and an array of documentary evidence which completely undermined the allegations point by point. All of this was overlooked. The judgment is so flawed that it would be ridiculous for Mr. Depp not to appeal a decision. In the meantime, we hope, in contrast to this case, the ongoing libel proceedings in America are equitable, with both parties providing full disclosure rather than one side strategically cherry picking what evidence can and cannot be relied upon. Depp has also launched a $50 million case against Heard in the U.S. over a column she penned for the Washington Post, what we know as the op-ed, about her experience as a victim of domestic violence. While Depp is not named in Heard's piece, his legal team insists that it's strongly inferred that the article is about him. I read that one. Yes, it basically is pointing the finger right at him. 4 days later, after the trial decision comes out, Depp announced that he had been asked to resign from his role as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts 3. Depp will no longer portray the controversial Dark Wizard Grindelwald in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts film. In a statement on his Instagram, 4 days after the conclusion of the case, he wrote in a typed letter, "I wish to let you know that I have been asked to resign by Warner Brothers from my role in Fantastic Beasts, and I have respect and agreed to that request." He continues, "Finally, I wish to say this. The surreal judgment of the court in the UK will not change my fight to tell the truth, and I confirm that I plan to appeal. My resolve remains strong, and I intend to prove that allegations against me are false." Depp also added, my life and career will not be defined by this moment in time." That third film at this point had already begun production, but a statement published shortly after Warner Brothers confirmed his departure. They said, "We thank Johnny for his work on films to date. After weeks of speculation, Danish actor Mads Mikkelsen was officially named as Depp's successor." I never agree with that type of stuff, especially when something's one-sided like that. Like, go with another character. Well, Depp was then denied the right to appeal by the court's ruling. He and his legal team had hoped to overturn the court's ruling with an appeal, but in a statement that was made public on November 25th, Judge Nickel refused to grant Depp the permission to appeal against his judgment, saying, "I do not consider the proposed grounds of appeal have reasonable prospect of success." The judge ordered Depp to make an initial payment of £630,000, or in the US, $841,733 to News Group newspapers, publishers of The Sun, to cover its legal fees. Depp still has until December 7th to apply for an appeal above Judge Nickel and the Court of Appeals. Now, we're going to get to the spicy stuff here in the US. Let me just get a drink, because that was 30 minutes of straight talk. All right. In 2021, Depp was once again, or no, we're not getting to our trial yet. 2001, Depp was once again denied permission to appeal against the High Court ruling by the Court of Appeals in London. So they just don't want to do anything. Heard and Depp's $100 million libel suit begins April 11th. So this is this year. It begins on April 11th at the Fairfax County Courthouse in Virginia. So basically the reason why it was in Virginia is because when you're in Virginia and you're a public figure like the both of them are, cameras can be allowed in the courtroom. There's a lot of other states that don't allow cameras in the courtroom, but Virginia is one that does. There's also another Virginia law that falls in here that affects Johnny Depp here later on that we'll talk about. Depp filed the defamation suit against Heard in response to the op-ed she wrote for the Washington Post and detailed her experience with domestic violence. Depp's name isn't mentioned, but the article was widely interpreted to be about him. Obviously, before him, she was the abuser against somebody else. In January 2021, Depp Heard countersued Depp for $100 million after her motion to move the case to California was denied. So she wanted it moved to California because then it wouldn't be a public thing. It would be behind closed doors. There would be no cameras and reporters allowed in the courtroom. So it was reported early on, before the case even started, that Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk and actor James Franco are among the high-profile celebrities due to testify during the case. They were dragged into a legal dispute after Depp accused her of having two extramarital relations or marital affairs with them while she was still with him. Then page 6 in his defamation lawsuit also stated that WandaVision star Paul Bettany, actor Ellen Barkin, and representatives from Disney and Warner Brothers will give evidence to the court. The publication also reported that new evidence will be introduced into the court, including unseen police body cam footage from an altercation between Depp and Heard. Now we're going to get into the juicy stuff. Court case begins with opening statements from Heard and Depp's lawyers. So Heard's lawyer, J. Benjamin Rottenborn. It's funny because Johnny Depp calls him, I think, Rotten Bottom. But his name is Rottenborn. Told the jury that Depp is going to try to turn this case into a soap opera, referencing his tumultuous relationship with Heard. Now, if anybody tried turning this into a soap opera soap opera, come on, it was Heard lawyers that did that. Heard lawyers were so bad, I think she got them from wish.com. Like, these weren't truly lawyers. Like, they must have been like in their first year of practicing or something. Like, they sucked. Come on. There's points in this case where the lawyer's sitting there objecting every time Johnny Depp speaks. Or when the female lawyer, I can't remember her name right at the moment, she's getting up there and she's leading questions. She's having leading questions. Like, she's trying to lead everybody to where she wants to go. And obviously, all those were objected against, and rightfully so. Rottenborn continues that this lawsuit is centered around the question of whether Heard was exercising her First Amendment right to free speech by writing an op-ed for the Washington Post about her experience with domestic violence. He says the answer is very clearly yes. At one point during the proceedings, Rottenborn read out the full op-ed and argued that it was clear that the article wasn't meant to drudge up allegations against Depp, but to speak about an issue impacting pending legislation. Rottenborn argued that if Heard had intended to describe her relationship with Depp, believe me, the article would have looked very different. No, it wouldn't have. Anybody that's read that article knows who she was talking about. So then Depp's lawyer Benjamin Chu blasted Heard as a liar, saying in court that her accusations ruined Depp's career and alienated him from producers who once favored the movie star. And then he goes on to say, when, like Mr. Depp, your career depends on your image and your reputation. Other movie producers want their movie associated with you. That can be particularly harmful. By choosing to lie about her husband, for her own personal benefit, Amber Heard chose to ruin his reputation. Then Depp takes the stand. And on the stand, April 20th, 2022, Depp said that Heard was the real abuser in the relationship. Can you just put that on the camera over there? Just put it on the he says that she was the real abuser in the relationship, and the change in their relationship started with her making little digs and demeaning name calling. Depp said that he felt like he was suddenly wrong about everything and suffered an endless parade of insults. The actor added that sometimes these arguments would escalate to violence with Heard, who he said has a need for violence, shoving him, throwing a glass of wine in his face. When these arguments would start, Depp said he would try to extricate himself from the situation, sometimes locking himself in a bathroom just to get away from her. Now, there's one point in the case that he says he's trying to leave. He goes into the bathroom. She's trying to get into the bathroom while he's holding the door closed, and just to get in the bathroom, she says, "Oh, my foot is caught in the door," which then he opens the door to make sure she's all right, and then she starts to hit him. Then you got the bottle incident where he goes to drink a thing of vodka, I believe it was, and she throws the bottle past his head and hits the wall and shatters. Then he goes around the bar, and as he explains, he goes around the bar, he grabs a big bottle of it, comes back around the bar, pours himself another glass. She grabs the bottle, steps back, throws it at him. It hits the counter where his hand was kind of like grabbed onto, and that's what cut his finger off. So there's two other things of abuse. Depp also said his relationship with Heard, as well as what he described as her frequent verbal attacks, often contributed to his use of alcohol and drugs, which it can. Do you want that escape? Because there is no escape when somebody's trying to abuse you. You're going to do that so that way you don't remember or have to deal with any of the situation. I was more inspired by Miss Heard to reach out for a numbing agent because of the constant clashes. He said, I have to have something to distance me and distance my heart from those verbal attacks. So there you have it. That's why he was using drugs. I mean, There's probably multiple reasons on why he was doing all this stuff, but that is one. Depp said a possessed Heard severed his finger with a vodka bottle after an argument. This is what I was just talking about. Depp said in a fight in which his finger was severed happened about a month after his 2015 wedding to Heard, when she flew out to Australia to visit him as he filmed the 5th installation of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Heard arrived to Australia very upset about how a meeting with Depp's lawyers had been conducted, feeling that one of the lawyers she met with had been rude and dismissive. Depp told the court that he had asked his lawyers to discuss post-nuptial agreement with Heard. Depp said he was staying in a large house in Australia and remembered locking himself in at least 9 bedrooms and bathrooms that day, as she was banging on the doors and screaming obscenities and wanted to have a physical altercation. So she was trying to get him to have a physical altercation, and he was trying to stay away from it. Which, I mean, anybody that doesn't want to be in a physical altercation, that's what they're going to do. They're going to run and hide from somebody who's abusing them constantly or belittling them. At that point, Depp said he had been sober from drinking for some time, but noted the stress of the situation caused him to go to the bar in the house, pour himself a few shots of vodka. He continued that Heard followed him into the bar, started yelling at him again for drinking again, and proceeded to throw the bottle of vodka at him. He said the bottle flew past his face and smashed on the ground behind him. Okay, so it smashed on the ground, not on the wall. Then he says he goes back behind the bar, picked up a larger bottle of vodka, and continued to pour himself another drink. He said Heard picked up the second bottle, threw it at him, and at that time, it made contact with his hand, slicing off his middle right finger. And then he says it made contact and it shattered everywhere. I honestly didn't feel the pain at first. What I felt was heat, and I felt as if something were dripping down my hand. Then I looked and realized that the tip of my finger had been severed off, and I was looking directly at my bone sticking out, and that meaty portion of the inside of my finger. He later testifies that he lied to doctors about how the tip of his right middle finger was cut off, rather than telling them. Heard threw a vodka bottle at him. So he lies and says something completely different, which could hurt his... If he were to go to the police about it, it would have hurt him. Because you don't know whether he's telling the truth now or whether he's not. I didn't want to disclose that I had been misheard, that had thrown the vodka bottle at me, and then took my finger off. He said, I didn't want to get her in trouble. I tried to keep things as copacetic and as easy as possible for everyone. I didn't want to put her into that mix. So dude sounds like a good dude outside of the drug and alcohol problems. Like, he doesn't want to get anybody in trouble. It seems like he just wants to like chill. He wants to be him. Then while he's on the stand, he testifies that Heard or one of her friends defecated in their bed after he broke up with her. He testifies that Heard was responsible for the fecal matter found on their shared bed after a fight in which he said he was leaving her. The actor alleged that the incident happened following a fight after a dinner party for Heard's 30th birthday on April 21st, 2016. He says my initial response to that was I laughed. Describing the reaction to seeing a photo of feces, it was so outside, it was so bizarre, it was so it was so grotesque that I could only laugh. According to Depp, Heard blamed the fecal matter incident on Pistol and Boo, her 2 dogs. An explanation Depp said he found ridiculous. You're not blaming it on 2 dogs. Dog shit and human shit are different. Like, no. She brought up the fecal matter on the bed. She tried to blame it on the dogs, Depp said. They're teacup Yorkies, so these are really small dogs. They weigh about 4 pounds each. I live with those dogs. I picked up their funk. It was not the dogs. Yeah, it wasn't the dogs. Come on, you know you took a shit in the bed. Come on, you got to sleep there. You trying to get the guy pink eye? What the hell you doing, Amber Heard? What are you doing? The ACLU says that Amber Heard donated 1.3 million of the 1.3 million of the 3.5 she pledged to the organization from her Depp divorce settlement. So she hasn't given all of it. And then the other organization, she hasn't given anything. And then she did blame on the stand that this court case came up. Jake, this court case wasn't filed until 2020. You had 4 years with the money and you didn't donate it. You pledged it, and then you claim that pledging and donate to you were interchangeable when they're really not. Come on, man. So one of the payments was from her directly, a payment for $350,000 in August 2016. The other payments were $100,000 check from Depp, $500,000 from a donor advised fund at Vanguard, an investment management company, and $350,000 from a donor advised fund at Fidelity, another investment management company. Then it was said that the ACLU believed the $500,000 Vanguard payment was from a fund set up by Heard's former partner Elon Musk. When Depp and Heard reached a divorce settlement in 2016, Heard announced that she would donate the entirety of her $7 million settlement to charity. She didn't want any of the money. She said the money would be split between two organizations, the American Civil Liberties Union and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. So UCLA and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. I don't think they've even gotten any of their money yet. Well, obviously the UCLA has gotten a little bit of it. Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, none. And now she broke. She ain't got no money. A psychologist said Depp forced her to give him oral sex and penetrated her with a bottle when he was angry during the relationship. This is stated to be from August or April. Dawn Hughes, a clinical psychologist, testified in court that Depp forced Heard into those acts or into those instances of sexual violence throughout the relationship. When Mr. Depp was drunk or high, he'd throw her on the bed, rip off her nightgown, and try to have sex with her. There were times when he forced her to give him oral sex when he was angry. Hughes testified these weren't in loving moments, they were angry moments. Hughes provided testimony in the Fairfax County Court based on 29 hours worth of clinical interviews with Heard, as well as her interview of court transcripts. Hughes said Depp displayed obsessive jealousy and was the true abuser in the pair's relationship. She continued to detail one specific instance when Depp accused a woman of flirting with Heard and proceeded to take her into his trailer and performed a cavity search on her. Hughes said Depp was ostensibly looking for drugs. So this is what she's talking about here, or what she's trying to testify with here, is when they went to the trailer park, somebody was flirting with Amber Heard. They went into the trailer. He did a cavity search on her, and then he started breaking shit all around the trailer. This was defunct by the owner of that trailer community. He even came out and said at no point when they were all sitting around the fire did Johnny Depp seem like he was angry, upset, or anything. And then he says nothing was really broken in the broken or smashed in the trailer. There was a mirror or a light fixture that was broken, but that was it. It wasn't a completely trashed thing like this psychologist tried saying that Amber told her. He felt it acceptable to rip off her nightgown and stick his fingers up her hoo-ha to look for cocaine. Hughes said he thought that maybe she was hiding them there. He continued that the most severe instances of sexual violence that Miss Heard had endured was during a fight with Depp in Australia, where the actor penetrated Heard with a vodka bottle. He grabbed a bottle that was on the bar and penetrated her with that bottle. Hughes said, and Miss Heard reported to me of disassociating and going outside of her body. Hughes said Depp was beating and choking Heard and telling her that he was going to effing kill you. I'm going to effing kill you when he grabbed the bottle. The only thing she was thinking is, oh God, I hope it's not the broken one. This is what Hughes says to the court. Then Heard takes a stand. She says at the beginning of hers that she thought Donnie Depp was joking the first time he hit her. And this is on May 4th, 2022. She was asked by her lawyers whether she recalled the first time Depp struck her, to which she promptly said, yes. I was sitting on the couch and we were talking. We were having a normal conversation. There was no fighting, no argument, nothing, and he was drinking. Heard began noting that she believed Depp was also using cocaine at the time, because there was a vintage jar of cocaine on a table inside the house. How do you know that was a jar of cocaine? I mean, could have been his jar of dirt. He did love his dirt. Uh-oh. He did love his dirt. And he did have a jar of dirt. He did run around with a jar of dirt in Pirates of the Caribbean. Heard said that she asked Depp about the contents of a tattoo that he has on his arm. Depp said the tattoo depicted the phrase wino. Heard testified, at which point she said she laughed, thinking Depp was joking. So, I mean, the guy has he has a tattoo. Come on. He has a tattoo, calls himself Wino. All right, whatever. Where was I here? So, there was a whole lot of lying that was going on during this court case. And a lot of it was her. And you could tell. Like, there was points where she would be crying while sitting down listening to stuff. And she would think the camera turned away. But then when she notices the camera's back on her, she would be laughing, notice the camera's back on her, and then start crying again. And I really never saw tears during her crying either. So, yeah. But let's get back to her. Heard said Depp once held one of her dogs out of a moving car window while he was howling like an animal. The incident, Heard said, came in March 2013 after Depp consumed copious amounts of cocaine and hard liquor throughout the night and repeatedly accused her of infidelity. He grabs the teacup Yorkie and holds Boo out of the window of the moving car, and he's howling like an animal while holding the dog out the window. And everyone in the car, I'll never forget, everyone just froze. No one did anything. Heard said that she didn't want to react in case she prompted Depp to drop the dogs. It was just this eerie moment where he's howling and holding the animal outside the car window. The actress added that she gently pulled Johnny Depp's arm back into the vehicle. um um Amber Heard says Johnny Depp during this trial. She says Johnny Depp hurt himself during fights by cutting his arms and putting cigarettes out on himself. She says would often self-harm during fights using knives to cut himself and putting lit cigarettes out on himself. He often in fights would cut his own arms holding a knife to his chest or draw blood. Superficially at first, he also put cigarettes out on himself. He flicked them at me, and once or twice he tried to put one on me, but mostly he would do it while screaming at me. Amber Heard said she befriended Elon Musk after Johnny Depp stood her up at a Met Gala. So this is where Elon Musk comes in, and if you want to believe him, just befriending, you can. I think there was more to that. Dude's not just going to give somebody money for no damn reason for befriending them. She then testifies that her sister taught Johnny Depp to snort cocaine with a tampon applicator. And her sister's name is Whitney Henriquez. Taught Johnny Depp to snort cocaine with a tampon applicator during their relationship. The actress was responding to a photo presented in court by one of Johnny Depp's lawyers that showed 4 lines of cocaine next to a tampon applicator on a table. Heard said that she took the picture at her apartment in California in 2013. When you snort cocaine, typically it goes into your nose and then it doesn't stay on the table. There's residue from that cocaine when your lips and nose touch the table, right? Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, asked Heard in reference to the photo. In response, Heard said the tampon applicator next to the driver's license that you see is a device that I believe my sister had taught him to use in order to put cocaine in. When you go watch movies, people use a spoon too. They have like special spoons. If you ever watched, what was that movie? Fucking Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe, back in the day. Now that I'm trying to think of the movie, I can't think of the movie. Where their sister or Sarah Michelle Gellar's his stepsister, and he's trying to get with some other chick. I can't remember the movie now. Amber Heard once wrote, "I want to rip you apart, devour you, and savor the taste," in a private letter to Johnny Depp. Oh God, that just sounds horrible. Amber Heard said James Franco made a late night visit to her apartment after she had a fight with Johnny. Come on, man. Make a late night visit? Yeah. We know what you did. Come on. Johnny Depp joked about being able to punch Amber Heard in the face with no repercussion moments after their wedding, according to Heard's former friend. Now, just think about this. Everybody that she's gotten to take the stand is a former friend. They are not friends anymore. She doesn't have any friends, any family, or anything like that in the courtroom for her. Everybody in the courtroom is somebody paid to be there. So how many people does she really have with her that are friends with her, that are trying to help her out in this situation? Johnny Depp once asked his former agent to shut down a film because it featured nude scenes of Amber Heard. That's a husband. Like, if he doesn't feel comfortable with it, like, I don't blame him. I mean, you should let her do what she wants to do, but hey, each their own. Tracy Jacobs was his former agent, said the actor romanticized drug culture and had fundamental issues with anger that intensified over time, before detailing one specific incident when Depp sent her a series of angry all-capped emails instructing her to shut down the 2008 film London Fields, over nude scenes that featured Heard. Depp began the exchange by informing Jacobs that the producers of London Fields intended to debut their film at the Toronto International Film Festival, and that she should contact them immediately about cutting nude scenes that featured Heard. It is in Amber Heard's contract that there will be no nudity, and her effing agents are weak and insipid. Depp said in the email. Insider reported, will you please call them MFers, and you and Jake get on this immediately. I mean, if it's in her contract, she's probably more than likely she's the one complaining about it. Like, she's probably the one going back to him saying something. If it's not her saying something to him to get him to say something to them, then it's him being like, I don't want my wife naked in this movie. Something wrong with that? I don't think so. A lawyer who represented Amber Heard during the prenup negotiations said Johnny Depp called her a B-word and tried to fire her while drunk. Johnny Depp said he called Warner Brothers to curb their worries after Amber Heard's Aquaman audition. So it sounds like they had some worries about her, and I believe the director even came out and said, it was either the director or somebody higher than the director, said that Amber Heard and the hell's his name, Jason Momoa, had no chemistry at all on the set. While on the stand, Depp said he reached out to Warner Brothers executives on Amber Heard's behalf following her audition for Aquaman. For a few years, I had a multi-film deal with Warner Brothers, so we'd been in business together, so I knew these people. I'd been on the films with them. Depp said of his relationship with the film studio. He added that Heard asked me if I would speak to them. I was informed by Miss Heard that the film was going to be shooting in Australia, and that was a concern for her. He said when asked what happened after Heard's edition in 2018. Depp said he made a phone call to 3 Warner Brothers Films executives, including former chairman and CEO of Warner Brothers Entertainment, Kevin Sugihara. I believe that's the guy that testifies in the trial. Former president of marketing, Sue Kroll, and former president of creative development, Greg Silverman, in which he painted a beautiful picture of Heard for them. When asked the result of speaking with the studio heads, Depp said, I can only say that ultimately she did get the job in the film, so hopefully I suppose I had curbed their worries. So Camille brings this up in the trial, that she got the film because of Johnny Depp. 100% true. Like, that tells you right there. He probably wasn't going to get the film, but Johnny Depp persuaded those 3 executives in Warner Brother to give her the role. So talk a little bit about the trial before we get into the ending of the trial. There's a lot of parts in the trial where Amber Heard, you could tell, is lying about everything that's going on. There's one part of the trial where Amber Heard is seen, she's coming off of the stand. They call Johnny Depp up to the stand. He's standing back. This man does not look at her once in any video I've seen. Not one time. And he even told her, and it's in a voice recording, that I will never look at you again. Throughout the whole trial, I don't recall ever seeing him looking at her at all. But he's going up to the stand. She's coming off the stand. He turns to the side and looks, I believe, at the jury. And she kind of, for the cameras, cowers back. So that way she can look good. And then they usher her out and him in. That was just for show. Honestly, that was for show. There is no reason for that. Like, the way she's acting in this whole thing, you could kind of tell she's the abuser in the situation, because you could see her laughing over there, barely crying. She's putting on this sad face, but when the cameras go away, she's joking around and laughing with her lawyers. And then when they come back to her, she notices, freaks out, and then goes back to the, oh, I'm sad. But then him, the way he speaks, the way he's kind of stuttering and stammering across his words, you could tell that he's a victim. It's obvious that he's a victim. You got parts in the case where her lawyers are asking him questions and he says one word and they're like, oh, this is hearsay. Oh, this is hearsay. This is hearsay. And even Johnny makes a joke about it when they ask him a question. He puts his head down, looks up, and he's like, hearsay? Like, it was a joke. Like, they're Wish.com lawyers. These were not good lawyers. There's something that I was going to bring up. So he was being funny in court. I don't know if I agree with this too much because the average person isn't getting away with something like this, but we'll go to it really quick. Get this pulled up.
Say, get off me.
Get this pulled up.
No, I did not. Hitting the wall hard.
Get this pulled up.
Based on... No, I did not. The accusations that she brought... I'm sorry, I was based on talking... No, I did not.
You would answer my question. We'll take a look at the next exhibit. Thank you.
As long as you're happy, sir.
You didn't want her acting. You wanted to control her career, correct?
Objection, compound.
That's
Hold
patently
on,
untrue. It's a
Mr.
great
Depp,
guess.
sir. All right, yes, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Let's. We can. Did I read that right?
Yes, Mr. Roddenberry.
You're complaining about her ambition in this text to her. To Dr. Dipper, correct?
I'm realizing that her ambition is far stronger than her supposed feelings for me, yes. It doesn't mean that
There's a lot of stuff where
I actually literally cut my finger off after...
there's a lot of things where he asked her questions.
Well, finding the only thing...
There's a lot of things where he asked her questions.
which is playing the guitar. Very unlike...
Like he asked her questions a million times.
when I was 13.
Or asked him questions a million times. He asked her questions a million times.
Misheard what?
Or asked him questions a million times.
When your nerves are pushed...
Sir,
Can we approach her on it?
okay.
She was trying to get you to stop using.
So yeah. So we'll just go over it. So there's a lot of stuff in here where Rottenborn is saying something and he's like, every time Johnny goes up to question it, Johnny's like, I'm gonna say something and it's hearsay. Then you got Camille Vasquez. She gets on a stand and she's tearing Amber Heard a new one. Everything she's asking Amber Heard, every question she has to Amber Heard, it's just like, man, can you lay into her anymore? Like, she's making Amber Heard look like a fool. She's making Amber Heard's lawyers look like fools. It was just ridiculous. And multiple times you can see Amber Heard fake crying as this is going on. Amber Heard, one of Amber Heard's lawyers gets up and, like I said, she's asking leading questions, and Camille, without fail, for a good 5 minutes where this lady's up there asking questions, and all of them are leading questions, Camille is just objecting to everything. Objection leading questions, objection, what was the other thing? Objection, irrelevance. And it's like 10 times in a row that she does this, and it forces the lady to get angry because she has no more questions to ask, because every question that she's asking was leading. So just shitty lawyers, shitty representation. So then let's get to the end part. A jury finds both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard liable for defaming each other. So Johnny Depp had filed 50 million for 4 counts of defamation, and he gave 4 instances of defamation, and all 4 of those instances were found to be true. So he won all 4 of his instances. He didn't get what he wanted. He got $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive. The bad thing about that is the $5 million in punitive in Virginia, you can only get $350,000 in punitive damages. The reason being is because that is the max allowed in Virginia. It's $350,000. She won on one of her cases, or one of her filings, and that was for $2 million. So basically, Johnny Depp, or she has to pay Johnny Depp $8,350,000 in damages. So with that said, it was 6 weeks of trial. Now her net worth was only worth, I think, $6 million to begin with. So now she is in the negative. I wouldn't be surprised if this woman has to, if this woman has to like file bankruptcy or anything like that. I don't think she's going to be, with all the news that came out of the trial, I don't think she's going to be able to get a movie. I think he's going to get back into the movie industry. There was rumors coming out that Tim Burton was going to get him to be in Beetlejuice Part 2. So it was going to be Winona Ryder. Who the hell was the other dude in there? It was Winona Ryder. Shit. Now that I'm trying to think of it. But the original 2 actors, the one that played Beetlejuice and then Winona Ryder, were going to be back in it. And then Johnny Depp was going to play in it too. We'll see what comes of that. But I think he'll bounce back now, because this is more of clearing his name a little bit more, because now truth has come out that he's also a victim of domestic abuse. But they found them both to be lying, so that's how they were awarded their damages. So there are 2 statements that have come out. Let's I'll pull those up right now. There was one by Johnny Depp, one by Amber Heard. All right. So before her trial started, this is one of her statements. I'm going to go offline for the next several weeks. As you may know, I'll be in Virginia, where I face my ex-husband, Johnny Depp, in court. Johnny is suing me for an op-ed I wrote in the Washington Post, in which I recounted my experience of violence and domestic abuse. I never named him. Rather, I wrote about the price women pay for speaking out against men in power. I continue to pay that price, but hopefully when this case concludes, I can move on, and so can Johnny. I have always maintained a love for Johnny, and it brings me great pain to have lived the details of our past life together in front of the world. At this time, I recognize the ongoing support. I've been fortunate. Gotta go to the next one. The ongoing abuse that I've been fortunate, or the ongoing support that I've been fortunate to have. Then she says, this is after the trial. So, mind you, think about this as well. When it comes to appeals for this case in Virginia, you can only appeal if your judgment is paid in full. So she has to pay the full $10,350,000 in full before she can appeal. If she doesn't pay that, She can't appeal. Then she comes out with a statement after the fact, after the case is over. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still wasn't enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when women who spoke up and spoke out could publicly be shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore the evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost a right that I thought I had as an American. So, yeah, you lost the case, but you didn't lose the case because his lawyers did their job. His lawyers made sure that he was believable, and he was. His lawyers pointed out that you were unbelievable, except for one of your things, which the one that they picked that was defamation wasn't even Johnny Depp that said anything. It was his agent or ex-agent that had said something, not him. So let's pull up Johnny Depp, because he also released a statement right after, and we'll give that a read as well. He says, 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, and the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me, were forever changed. All in the blink of an eye. False, very serious, and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me, and had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children, my children, to the support of me. I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. I had to look around the camera, guys. Sorry about that. So this man was not believed in the UK, but was finally believed here. Whether they abused each other, whether that is the case, we may never know. We may never know the truth of it. Her saying that this has set back women, I don't think that has. What this has done, in my eyes, what this has done has made a step forward for dudes, for men, to come out. Because a lot of guys do not. They'll just take it and go. This should not deter women from coming out if they're being abused in their relationships. So I hope that no women get deterred by something like this. Like, if you're being abused, whether you're man, woman, whether it's from a man or a woman, go say something. Do something about it. I know sometimes it's hard, especially when somebody controlling gets a hold of your life and doesn't allow you basically the outside world. But get help any way you can, so that way You have help. You are not alone in this. There are multiple things you can do for this. Just know you're not alone. All right. Now that we're done talking about that. And that was a long one. 77 minutes, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. We've got one more thing to go over and then a big announcement. I'll try to have the rest of this wrapped up in the next 10 minutes. So just bear with me. I don't plan for these to be this long, but that case took up a long time. It took up more than I thought it would. I did not realize I had that many notes written down for it. So as you guys may have known, on Wednesday there was another mass shooting. So a week after the Robb Elementary mass shooting that killed 19 children and 2 teachers and injured, I think, 17 more, there was another mass shooting, this one in a hospital. This one, the gunman kills 2 doctors and 2 others at an Oklahoma medical building in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He blamed one of the... So I guess the reasoning behind this was because he blamed one of the physicians for causing him pain from a recent back surgery. And that was said by the police chief on Thursday. The shooter, like I've told you before at the beginning of this, I am not going to name names. I am not here to give glory or to glorify any shooters in any case. So we're not going to do that. So the police said he killed himself after the rampage in Tulsa. Had just earlier that afternoon legally purchased one of the firearms used in the slaughter, an AR-15 style rifle. City Police Chief Wendell Franklin said during a news press conference. The shooter entered a physician's office building at Tulsa's St. Francis Hospital campus late Wednesday afternoon and shot dead his surgeon, Dr. Preston Phillips, and 3 other people before fatally shooting himself. The 3 other victims at the Natalie Medical building were Dr. Stephanie Hoosen, receptionist Amanda Glenn, and patient William Love. So you've got 2 people that were there, 3 people that were there just working, and 1 person that was a patient in that building. What a way. Come on. Dude was just a patient. Officers found a letter on Lewis that made it clear that he came in with the intent to kill Dr. Phillips and anyone who got in his way. He blamed Dr. Phillips for the ongoing pain following the surgery, later calling the letter's contents a clear motive. The others, Franklin said, just stood in the way and Lewis gunned them down. An unspecified number of other people were injured in the shooting, which happened in orthopedic offices of Warren Clinic on the building's 2nd floor. Officials said at a Thursday news conference. These were the victims of the Tulsa shooting. The Warren Clinic is a series of primary and specialty care offices with the St. Francis system. The mass shooting is among the latest instances nationwide of first responders, civilians coming face to face with threat of gun violence in public places. It comes more than 2 weeks after a racist assault at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, and a bloody attack at a church in California, and 8 days after a heartbreaking massacre at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. The Tulsa shooting is one of 233 mass shootings that have occurred so far this year. CNN and the archive define a mass shooting as one in which at least 4 people are shot, excluding the shooter. So obviously, if more than 4 people were shot in this one, the shooter was from Muskogee, a city roughly 45 miles southwest of Tulsa, had back surgery on May 19th, performed by Phillips, and was released from the hospital on May 24th. He then called Phillips' office several times over several days, complaining of pain and wanting additional treatment, according to Franklin. So I wonder, in this case, did this guy have any issues with drugs before this. Because I wonder if this was just abuse of medication or what. Did he just really want the doctor to prescribe him opioids so he can have them? Or was this truly, you caused me back pain, fuck you, I'm going to take you out? The gunman bought an AR-15 style automatic rifle from a gun store at 2 p.m. Wednesday. Franklin said the gunman also had bought a .40 caliber pistol from a pawn shop on Sunday. So this happened Wednesday. Earlier in the day, he buys an AR-15. Sunday, he buys a .40 caliber pistol. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Sunday, he buys the pistol. Did he have to wait for that pistol or no? Obviously, he didn't have to wait for that pistol on Wednesday, because I'm pretty sure when you go to buy a pistol, you do the background check, you got to pay for it first. Not 100% sure. The two firearms were found at the scene. Police were initially alerted about the shooting in a 911 call at 4:53 p.m. Wednesday. The call was made by someone off campus who'd been on a video chat with a doctor who was in the building. The doctor told her to call 911, saying there's been a shooting. Responding officer right at 4:56. 2 minutes later, officers who reached the second floor heard a gunshot. We believe that was the final shot, and the suspect was taking his own life. At least one slain person was found in the same room as the gunman, as well as an uninjured female who was hiding under her desk at the suspect's foot. So one of the administrators says Dr. Phillips was a consummate gentleman. There's a lot of talk about how he's a really good guy. Witness described frantic first moments. She had arrived in a vehicle with her daughter-in-law and grandchildren for a doctor's appointment when she saw multiple officers race towards the complex. It was awful. It's sad. My daughter-in-law is from Buffalo, so now it's so close to home. It's not even safe if you come outside anymore, which is completely true. Right now, like, you don't know what's going to happen. It's literally not safe. Until something happens with gun control, it's not safe to go outside. Like, I don't understand why so many people want to get their or can get their hands on an AR-15 so easily. The same kid or the same guy that shot up Robb Elementary had 2 AR-15s and loads of ammunition. The loads of ammunition I got no issue with, because most people that buy a gun aren't buying it to shoot up schools, hospitals, grocery stores, stuff like that. My issue is you got an 18-year-old that day that bought 2 AR-15s, and now you've got this guy that had an AR-15. Something more needs to be done about this shit. There's something more needs to be done. Like, these politicians need to be doing something. They need to be taking their heads out of their asses and doing something about this issue that we have. There's no other place in the world that has these type of issues where we're talking about 200. They're talking 233 times about the same exact goddamn thing. Like, that's ridiculous. That we still have to be continuously talking about this. That we still have to be talking about elementary schools being shot up. That we still have to be talking about grocery schools and churches being shot up. Like, when is this going to stop? When is somebody going to do something about this? It's nonsense at this point. And our government is doing nothing. Like, it's happening more and more. And they're just basically telling us, hey, deal with it in your own way. They're not trying to help out. So, final thing to talk about right now. down in the description of this video, you can see it right now, and when the video is posted later, for VOD access, you will see it there. It'll be a public video. There will be a Linktree link in my bio, which will give you all my social media. So go and follow me on all my social medias. I post regularly on TikTok, but a lot of my TikTok is either going to be food videos for me making food, me reacting to food, stuff like that. There will be Apex footage on there as well. You've got my YouTube here. Hit subscribe. Give me that thumbs up on here. There'll be a lot of this. I'll be streaming or gaming on this channel as well. Saturdays will be either podcast or gaming. Wednesdays are always going to be gaming. Wednesdays will more than likely always be Apex. Saturdays will either be Dead by Daylight or we'll be doing this type of podcast thing. I like this podcast thing, so I hope you guys do too. Then Twitch, the other platform, I will be on there on Sundays with, I don't know if I'm going to keep calling it Self-Care Sunday or we'll call it Reflection Sunday. That way we talk about things that happened throughout the week for us, what went well, what went bad, what we want the next following week to go through. And then on Fridays over there as well. If you click that Discord link in my bio, in the Linktree link, that will bring you over to my Discord where I am always watching in there. I might not always talk in it, but if you tag me in something, I will definitely talk to you. Also in there, in my events folder, is a sign up sheet, which is what we're going to get to now. We have a sign up sheet in Google Docs. What I'll probably do when this video goes live as the VOD after it's done rendering, I'll put the Google Doc sheet in my bio or in the description as well for this video, and it'll be in my videos descriptions here going forward. But we're going to be doing a mega charity stream event. This event is going to be in August. Give me a second and I'll get the date. It is going to be August 25th, August 26th, August 27th, and August 28th. We are going to be supporting a charity called To Write Love on Her Arms. This is a mental health charity. Mental health is very important to me. As many of you know that are watching, I had struggled the past couple of months with this. I had taken a break from January up until March, and then I had to take another break from March until about April or May from streaming to make sure my mental health was great. And I'm just getting back into streaming again, full time. Well, not full time, part time. I have a full time job, so none of that. So catch me in there. The whole description of what's going on is in the events channel in my Discord. I'll put that link in here if you want to sign up. All I need is your Twitch username or your Discord link. Or you can stream from YouTube too. I don't really care where people stream from. It'll be easier on that other platform just because on the other platform you can raid the next person that's going after you. Up to you. If you want to join, just let us know or let me know. You can message me on any one of the platforms and get you the link for Discord. Yeah. So that's going to be the thing. I'm trying to get 50 people in on this over those 4 days. Going to try to raise as much money as we can. Get it over to Write Love on Her Arms. Help people out that have issues with their mental health. So with that being said, guys, I will be over on the other platform, same name, to KingVic on it. We'll be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to come see me there, that's great. I appreciate it. If not, and you want to be on YouTube, Wednesday I will be playing Apex Legends. Who knows? I might have some people with me if people want to play. If you want to play, drop by. Let me know in my Discord. Wednesday night will be 7 to 8:30, and then I'll be back on Saturday at 8 o'clock again for either another podcast or we'll play some games. And if you want to join on those, that's great too. So with that being said, guys, I am out. Drop a subscribe on this, like the video, give me some feedback in the comments. I appreciate you guys. Have a great night.